Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good. It's drizzling outside. I don't want that to slow us down. We should come with all the energy we need for today. Good morning and welcome. This is the MTN Executive Business Breakfast Series, Business Executive Series. We've done this for years, and we've touched on a lot of topics, shaped thoughts, transformed businesses and lives, and we are continuing. As long as MTN is in Ghana and Africa, we'll have these conversations and we'll shape the way we do business. We've had conversations on agric, on startups, on IT, on management, on branding, on almost every topic you can think of. But just as when you build your house, you go and get an electric fence to protect you, physical security, today we are talking about something which is very important. We are focusing on cybersecurity. And the theme for today is cybersecurity and the digital transformation of SMEs. When I entered, the first person I greeted was my sister, Charity Edupon, who runs one of the best agric SMEs. You are no longer an SME, you are an ME. Medium scale enterprise. Take the small from there, because wherever I go, I find your products. Melcom, ShopRite, wherever I find their products. And I started thinking about the topic and the relevance to somebody like her. If she puts her business online, if she starts selling online, if she starts interacting with people online, how does she protect her brand and her business from fraudsters, from all the various issues that we've encountered? And I think that it's very appropriate that MTN and partners are leading this conversation on cybersecurity for SMEs, and I believe we should give them a round of applause. My name is Kojo Agotoboating. Some people know me to be a radio person. When there is good money in agric, I go there as well. When you need me to build a house for you, I would. If you need me to help you with your IT services, I would. So I'm a natural resource. I cannot define myself, so all I can say about myself is that I'm a natural resource. And I'll be your moderator for today. Now, this is how today is going to go. We will have a keynote address. After the keynote address, we are going to have a conversation with our panelists. So at this point, I'd like to introduce our panelists, and then I'll invite our keynote speaker to give us a keynote address, and then we'll continue with the rest of the conversation. But before that, let's take this quick commercial break from MTN to see some of the great things that MTN have in store for all of us.
Doing never stops until the job is done. Turn your home and business into an internet highway and experience the revolution of working and playing without limits. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh to sign up for MTN Fiber for home and business today.
Yes, so that is MTN, ensuring that we are connected all over the world. One thing I've loved about MTN's broadband is the fact that I travel a lot, and wherever I go, I get to have access to the internet and deliver on my promise. Because these days, people expect you to do work wherever you are. So you can't say, I'm in Tumu and the internet doesn't work. MTN makes sure it works. Maybe if they start taking away the internet from some places, then we can give excuses. But as long as MTN exists and you can work remotely, there is no excuse for non-performance. So if your business is not on MTN's packages, please do. They have a lot. Talk to any of the ladies in the MTN shirts and the gentlemen. They can help you and connect your business to the services you need to grow. Now, I'd like to introduce our panelists. When I introduce them, they will still be in their seats. After the keynote address, they will join me up here for the conversation. And once again, the theme is cybersecurity and the digital transformation of SMEs. We are streaming on Facebook and also on YouTube. Those of you online, we have special packages for you. We have special rewards for you. So if you engage actively, by the end of the event, you have a special prize for those of you engaging actively. So please share on WhatsApp, on your various platforms, so that everybody can be a part of this conversation and shape their businesses. Now, our first panelist, charity begins at home, so I'll introduce our first panelist. Jacqueline Hansen Kote. She's a senior manager, MTN Ghana. She is currently MTN Ghana's security head and the senior manager for enterprise information security and governance. If she were in the Ghanaian system, she would have been national security coordinator. Yeah, so she's currently the national security coordinator in this space and for MTN. She has over 15 years of industry experience in cybersecurity, in governance, in risk, compliance. She's done so many things. And she's also a board member of ISACA Ghana. And look, Jacqueline is just awesome, so please give her a round of applause. We also have one of my favorite people in the space, but for her, I'll just keep her middle name and just give you her first name and her last name. Audrey is a banking ops, risk, and cybersecurity specialist at the Ghana Association of Bankers. When we get money, we will give struggling countries bailouts. Audrey, not so. The two of us, when we get money, we'll give struggling countries bailouts. This one, we're discussing how we'll raise 1 billion and probably give Ghana 100,000, and then we'll keep the 9.9 billion for Christmas. Now, Audrey is a specialist at the GAB, as I said earlier. She oversees the information security needs of its members. Prior to that, she was National CERT lead at the Cybersecurity Authority. She has held several roles in telecoms industry, including as Director of Information Security at Airtel Tigo Ghana, now 80. She has a computer science degree from the Swaziland College of Technology, and she's just an awesome brain who is helping to transform the space. Ladies and gentlemen, Audrey Mreku, our second panelist. And the third panelist is CK Bruce. His name, if you break it down, the first CK can give you CK Man, who is and was one of Ghana's best composers. So he's best at what he does. And Bruce would give you maybe Bruce Lee, one of the best action figures. Now, CK is the CEO for Innovari. She has over 20 years experience in IT. His professional experience is in information security management, ISO implementation, ISO 27001 implementation, IT auditing, governance. I want to go on and on and on and on and on. It's a long list. She's also a founding member and past president of ISACA, Accra chapter. And he's basically done a lot. And I think that one of the things he's done that has transformed the space was being the lead project executive for some key public sector e-government projects, namely the Ghana Government Enterprise Architecture, the e-government interoperability framework, and other things that he's done to transform the economy of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, our third panelist, CK Bruce. Our keynote address is going to be delivered by Dr. Albert Nchibu-Siako. He's the Director General at the Ghana Cybersecurity Authority. But he's not here because there's a big national issue he has to fix. You know, security people, when you invite them 1 minute, the next minute, Russia is fighting Ukraine, and they have to go and advise the UN as to how to deal with it. So they'll be called and they'll say present, sir. But instead, we have another excellent woman who has paid her dues in this space. She is the audit and compliance lead at the Ghana Cybersecurity Authority. Ladies and gentlemen, to give us the keynote address in the stead of Dr. Albert Nchibu-Siako, please help me welcome Adjoa Asamoah with a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. The Director General extends his sincere apologies for not being able to be here. He would have loved to be here to speak to you on the issue of cybersecurity. However, I do not bore you with this. This is a very beautiful speech targeted for the SMEs. And I believe at the end of the day, we are going to take a few things away to help improve our organizations. The Chief Executive Officer, Management and Staff of MTN Ghana, heads and representatives of small and medium-scale enterprises, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my appreciation to the team of MTN Ghana for organizing such an important event and for your active role in Ghana's cybersecurity development. In this age of digital advancement, the world has become more connected than ever. According to Hootsuite's We Social 2023 report, more than half, that is 64%, of the world's population are internet users. Ghana has a population of about 34 million, with a little over 23 million, representing 68% connected to the internet. While this presents incredible opportunities for growth and innovation, it also brings forth a present concern: the need to protect our citizens, including businesses, from the dark sides of the internet. SMEs are the backbone of economies. The vital role SMEs play in job creation, innovation, and economic growth cannot be overemphasized. According to the World Bank, SMEs represent about 90% of businesses and more than 50% of employment worldwide, contributing up to 40% of national income in emerging technologies. The World Bank further estimates that 600 million jobs will be created or needed by 2030 to absorb the growing global workforce, which makes SME development a high priority for governments around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the new generation of technologies, that is big data, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, and quantum computing, blockchain, among others, are changing the nature of businesses. Today, these technologies help businesses to explore new opportunities to create innovative solutions, bolster revenue, streamline operations, and the speedy delivery of goods and services. However, these very solutions that empower SMEs also have the potential to expose them to a multitude of cyber risks. Cyber attacks, including phishing schemes, business email compromise, data breaches, and online fraud, have become prevalent threats, targeting organizations of all sizes. For SMEs, the consequences of a successful cyber attack can be devastating. The financial losses, the damage to reputation, and potential legal liabilities can pose an existential threat. Over the past few months, the Cybersecurity Authority, CSA, has, through the active monitoring of its cybercrime, cybersecurity incidents reporting points of contact, noticed the trend of incidents experienced by businesses and reported to the CSA. SMEs especially have become victims of online impersonation, especially on social media. Therefore, there is a need to prioritize cybersecurity awareness training for all business employees and stakeholders to foster cybersecurity best practices. This training covers topics such as recognizing phishing emails, to creating strong passwords, to understand the current cyber threats, and safe online behavior. Regular training sessions and awareness campaigns can significantly reduce the risk of human error and improve the overall security posture of the organization. Again, enforcing robust access controls to restrict unauthorized access to sensitive systems and data can reduce the potential attack surface and minimize the impact of a breach. Maintaining an updated inventory of software and systems and promptly applying security patches and updates will help protect against known vulnerabilities and further strengthen the security posture of the business. Failure to do so can expose the business to cyber threats. Ladies and gentlemen, the limited budgets of SMEs affect the implementation of adequate cybersecurity measures, making it challenging to invest in robust cybersecurity solutions and dedicated personnel. The limitation makes SMEs attractive targets for cyber criminals. It is imperative to find cost-effective solutions and prioritize cybersecurity when drafting budgets. The underlying issue has been the awareness and commitment of management teams, which in turn affect budget allocations of resources and the effective implementation of cybersecurity practices. Cybersecurity is not an issue that should only be discussed by the technical teams. It needs to make its way into the boardroom. During strategic meetings, most SMEs do not have in-house cybersecurity experts, making it difficult to develop and implement effective strategies. Without the right expertise, identifying vulnerabilities and implementing appropriate security controls may become a challenge. There is the need, therefore, for SMEs to explore options such as outsourcing or engaging with managed security service providers to bridge the gap. Employees play a critical role in maintaining strong cybersecurity practices. However, many SMEs lack adequate security awareness training programs for their staff. Without the proper training, employees may fall victims to phishing attacks or unknowingly engage in risky online behavior, which could damage the organization. SMEs must prioritize and invest in effective cybersecurity awareness training programs to educate their employees on best practices. Ladies and gentlemen, cybersecurity transcends borders. In multi-sectoral and cross-departmental organizations, from governments to businesses, to the citizens and to academia, from management to employees, we all have a role to play to protect our digital environment. The government, as an enabler and regulator, has initiated and established various mechanisms to address Ghana's cybersecurity challenges. Cybersecurity, therefore, should be a top-down initiative, with leaders actively demonstrating their commitment to the security and resilience of our digital space. Executives and management should prioritize cybersecurity, allocate appropriate resources, and lead by example in adhering to security policies and practices. One of the key interventions by government is the enactment of the Cybersecurity Act 2020, Act 1038, which paved way for the establishment of the Cybersecurity Authority. Among other things, the CSA is responsible for regulating cybersecurity activities in Ghana, protecting critical information infrastructure, responding to cyber-related incidents, the protection of children online, and creating awareness. Cybercrime and cybersecurity incident reporting points of contact have also been established to provide citizens, businesses with an avenue through which cyber-related incidents can be reported to the CSA for action. I encourage all SMEs to use this POC, which is a point of contact, whether in reporting incidents or performing due diligence to prevent being victims of cybercrime. The CSA, as part of its regulatory mandate, has commenced the process of licensing cybersecurity service providers and accrediting cybersecurity establishments and cybersecurity professionals. The regulatory intervention is expected to ensure that the cybersecurity service providers, the cybersecurity establishments, and cybersecurity professionals offer their services in accordance with approved standards and procedures in line with domestic requirements and industry best practices. As I conclude, we know the month of October has been designated as the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. This year's celebration is themed Promoting a Culture of Digital Safety. It was launched on Monday, October 3rd, 2023. This highlights the importance of cultivating a collective mindset and behavior that values and promotes responsible online practices, cybersecurity awareness, and the protection of personal information. Several activities have been lined up to commemorate the 2023 edition of the National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and I entreat you all to participate for the betterment of our digital space. I wish you all a fruitful deliberation. Thank you very much.
In Africa, SMEs play such a strong and important role in terms of the economies that we serve. According to the World Bank data, SMEs contribute about 40% of the African GDP, and they also employ roughly about 2/3 of the workforce on the continent. What I love about this continent is that we're always hustling and finding a way of making things happen. The African population is quite young, and a large component of those are actually being employed by the SMEs. These SMEs are also contributing a lot in terms of solving some of Africa's key problems, but also producing not only products and services, but innovating in terms of how technology can actually solve these pertinent issues. In this dynamic and changing world, we wanted to showcase and position MTN Business and showcase how we are progressing Africa's businesses through reliable and trusted ICT services. Our brand positioning is about business done better. At MTN Business, we recognize that not all businesses are the same, whether it's the small, micro, entrepreneurial startups to the multinationals, including also in the public sector. Each of them have unique issues that they're addressing and also unique offerings that they bring. So as such, as MTN, we want to address that uniqueness and bring solutions that are very relevant in solving these enterprises' issues. At MTN Business, it starts with connectivity, but it goes far beyond that. We're looking at ICT services, cloud solutions, IoT, and all that around the connectivity really starts to build the foundational blocks that makes companies do business better. It's about bringing the old into the new, looking at how things were done into how they can be. So it's all about renewal. It's such an exciting time for us as MTN Business and also for industries out there because we're seeing the progress of technologies. First, we can look at 5G and how that is currently being rolled out across the continent and adjacent technologies within the IoT cloud space and other evolving technologies. These solutions are allowing businesses do business better. Business done better is about unlocking opportunities, unlocking value, unlocking economies, unlocking talent. And that is what MTN Business is all about.
I believe that was a great speech, and Adjoa has done justice to the speech for her boss, and she deserves another round of applause. And whilst I listened to the speech, I took notes, reference to the fact that 64% of the world's population are internet users. So this 64% of the population must be protected online. They must enjoy security online. And then the speech delved into the problems of SMEs, limited budgets, staffing issues, scalability, regulation, support for SMEs, awareness and training, choosing the right solutions. I think all the problems, I am not a cybersecurity expert, but after listening to the speech, I believe most of the problems, or almost all the problems, have been mentioned in the speech. So now we are going to discuss the solutions and find the way forward. And at this point, I'd like you to help me once again to invite my panelists to join me here on the stage. Please help me bring Mr. C.K. Bruce to the stage. A round of applause for him once again. Please help me invite Jacqueline Hansen Kote to the stage as well. And also Audrey Miracle. Please, a round of applause for her as well. CK, please move closer to me. Yeah, move to this seat so that man, woman. Yes, Audrey, you can have that. I noticed Audrey wanted to sit there, so I had to move CK. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
I hope you are well. I thought that the speech really highlighted all the challenges, but you being the experts in the space, if there were any other challenges that you want to add on, maybe I'll start with you, Jacqueline, and come to Audrey. What are the main challenges in your experience for SMEs when it comes to cybersecurity that you've had to deal with?
Good morning, everybody. It's an honor to be here. She did justice to the speech. Thank you, Ajwa. I think SMEs tend to have limited resources in terms of people as well. So you might not find SMEs who have a dedicated cybersecurity office to deal with the issues. And cybersecurity really is about proactive risk management. You might miss some things. And I remember when you were hailing our sister about her products being in Melcom, you said maybe she starts selling online. And cybersecurity starts when you even start using email. You don't need to be selling online. Okay, so far as you have email and some digital products in-house, you need to protect yourself because your colleagues are speaking online through email and they're using mobile phones, and anything can happen. So I think limited resources is one of them. It's something that needs to be looked at. How do you marshal those resources together to make sure that you have good risk management in-house, you are looking at your vulnerabilities, you are not missing anything, and appropriate mitigations are in place to ensure that you are not attacked. I'm sure CK
talking about emails, in the early days of blogging, I had a blog, and I created that blog with my Google account. Yeah. And back then, we would go to the internet cafe to update our blogs. And there was this day I didn't sign out of my account. I was signing out, and back then the internet was terrible, so Charlie, the thing, it went off. Then somebody came the following day, had access to my email, entered my blog, started posting their own adverts and their own stories. It took me about a month to get the blog back. So as long as you are using any digital tool, cybersecurity has to be taken into consideration. If you have a phone, cybersecurity starts there. If you have an email, it starts there. Thank you very much for that. Audrey.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And thank you for having us here today. And for you to show up, it means you really take cybersecurity seriously and you know it's the way to go. From my experience, what I've realized was that after COVID, a lot of businesses have been forced into digitalization. The infrastructure has become so complex. Looking at the fact that small, medium enterprises like such as yourselves, you don't have all the resources to protect this. You've been drawn or pushed into this terrain with very limited knowledge. And when you look at the internet space, cyberspace, we are trying to learn about it whilst we're still running our business into it. A lot of people were told to go online, start accepting other payments other than cash, which we were not ready for, and nobody took the time to orient us into these platforms. So I think that is the main challenge. It is complex, and nobody had the time to bring everybody on board, teaching us about the threats that are out there, and also how to even identify some of the problems that are happening on the cyberspace. I think that is the biggest challenge for me. And another thing that I think we need to look into is thinking that it's a small business. I'm safe. What would cyber attackers be looking out for in my small business? There are bigger organizations that they can target. Cyber criminals don't care. As long as there's money involved, as long as there's data, that is a mine for them. I know in Ghana there's what we normally say, don't give small money chance. These people really understand that. So we really need to shine our eyes.
Recently, somebody went on Google Maps, changed the contact info for a pizza delivery business. Then a friend called to order pizza. Then this person calls back. Your pizza is ready. Make your payments. Pushes Momo. Person pays. Then goes to the pizza joint. There is no record. He shows them the number, and they're like, this is not our number. So if they had paid attention to their online presence and their cybersecurity, they could have known that scammers had changed, suggested for their number to be changed on Google, and that they were scamming people. So this is very important. So in this particular case, cybersecurity really should not be seen as a defensive strategy, but really a proactive strategy that actually drives business growth. CK, is that supposed to be the way we look at it?
Yes, very much so. I mean, let's look at digital transformation and actually what it means. It means that you are outsourcing all your technology to another organization in the cloud, basically. Okay, so as an SME, I don't expect you to need to buy servers, to need to buy software that you are going to install. Everything is in the cloud for you. And that concern that, oh, I don't have my data with me and it's in some data center somewhere, should be expelled. I mean, you should not worry. If you go to one of these data centers, you will understand that the security that is at that data center is immense. Your data is not even on one server. It is stripped over a number of servers. So the capability of an employee at the data center to access your data is next to impossible. Now, the only way to access that data is through you. So your greatest risk is how you manage your access control to your cloud applications, okay? So it comes back to you and your management practices and your processes and the way that you manage your environment in your office, okay? So let's think about it from another perspective. Which one is easier? Hacking the technology or hacking you? And hacking you is much easier. It's a con. It's social engineering. And as the example that you gave, you go and use it, your application in a public place, and you forget to log out. You've saved your credentials in a browser. Okay, so these are quite simple things that we don't put proper management practices around to protect ourselves. So it's just fully understanding, and these awareness, these programs will give us the proper understanding of how to behave. Okay, so from an SME perspective, the most important aspect is how you behave. The things that you do that would reduce the risks around your environment.
Nice. So from the onset, as you plan your business, as you prepare everything, cybersecurity should be one of the foundational things you do to help you grow your business. What are some of the fundamentals, for the want of a better word? We'll be entering the political season next year, so let's use some political expressions. What are some of the fundamentals that every SME must have, the frameworks, the guidelines, so that they really give cybersecurity a good showdown? CK?
As I mentioned, one of the key things is your management practices, is the environment that you create, okay? One thing that we need to realize is that you can't stop any cyber attack or cyber outage. You can't stop it, okay? If you think about the COSO framework, okay? COSO is one of the risk management frameworks. COSO says that the first thing that you need to think about is how you create a deterrent. Then, how do you delay an attack? Then, how do you detect an attack? Then, how do you recover? Nothing about stop. You can't stop, okay? You need to create an environment that a cyber attacker would want to do. This environment will be too difficult. Let me move to another environment, okay? If the attacker is still motivated, you need to have controls in place. That would delay him. Again, you can't stop it, but it would delay him. And that delay, you are hoping that whilst he's trying, you can detect, okay? One of the biggest problems is that detection. There's been so many large organizations who've had cyber attackers in their environment for months. They can't detect. A sharp attacker would come into your environment and do no disruption. If you're lucky, they will even fix your database for you. So there's nothing amiss, okay? It's the inexperienced script kiddies who go and cause disruption, and then you will discover them, okay? So that detection ability is key. And the last one is recover. Again, you can't stop. So one of the most important management capabilities is the recovery. How do you respond when you have a cyber attack? What is your incident management processes? How do you communicate to your stakeholders, to the general public? Those are the key things. Okay, those are the things that as your customers would want to know. Okay, how you recover. Remember that the most important thing is your business. You don't need to spend time, how do I say this? You don't need to spend time on who did it, and yeah, I mean, it's important, but the point I'm trying to make is that the most important thing is the resilience and continuation of your business. And that's where the focus should be. You've had an attack, and so what? Go on. How do you continue the business? Now, to effectively do that, you need to have very good management practices, very good planning in place, and very good management personnel who understand that perspective and that concept.
Great.
So I mean, that's how the management thinking should be.
Thank you very much, Siki. I want to use Charity as an example again. And Charity, I'm sorry if I'm mentioning your name too much. You are appropriately branded as Lady MTN for today, so permit me to use you. So you run a food business, right? You started tagging eggs, labeling eggs for sale in this country first. The first business I know that does that. You sell honey, you sell processed food and everything. Now, I can see you are in a very thoughtful mood because you are thinking around cybersecurity. So the question from you to Audrey is that for someone like Charity, she runs a startup. She has about 30 staff. She's selling in modern trade and also online. If she sits down to think about her business and cybersecurity, give her 5 points. What she must do as a business. There are regulatory issues to deal with. There are budgeting issues to deal with. There are targets to set for her. What must she do to set herself up to thrive? Sika has given us a broad-based guidelines, approaches, strategies, and all that. But I want you to simplify it for Charity so she takes it home and starts implementing immediately.
Okay. One of the business mistakes we have done is to think cybersecurity as this big monster. We need to take a step back. It's just security of digital assets. So, Madam Charity, in your case, I would say look at security as your business is the asset. Your products and the services that you provide to your customers are the assets that you need to protect. The channels that you use to communicate with your customers are the services that you also need to safeguard, not only from malicious people, but from also competition. So let's just think of it as security, the traditional security. Now, take a step back. I want you to think of it in the simplest form of security. Your business is your house. In your house, you have your jewelry, you have your children, you have all the memories in that house, you have your valuables in that house. Before you put up your house, you put up a wall around your house, and you have a gate with a padlock. That is your password. You need to protect the perimeter. That is your password. I know most of us think you need to protect your laptop. I, for one, and I know a lot of you in this room, you have more on your mobile devices than you have on your laptops because you receive your emails on your phone. We're working from home. You check your emails. You do your transactions on your phone. So have that password. And that password needs to be protected. Change that password regularly. That password, make sure that, the reason I'm saying you change it regularly because it's the people who are coming to attack your business are not only outside people, even people close to you. I'm sure you've been reading the newspapers. You know what has been happening even within the banking space. Quite a number of articles you see about what's happening. I'm married to a Kwe woman, so when he is giving me money, he switches to the corner before he counts it, then he gives it to me. So when he's transacting using mobile money, I see him sitting on his phone and he's moving his fingers up and down. I know there's a 3 at the top, there's a 4 at the bottom, somewhere in there. So I just, on a daily basis, I just know that, okay, today he went to the top right. The next time I monitor the next move. So that is exactly what's happening with your business as well. Before I realized it, he has changed the password. So because I thought he goes to the top, then to the far right, he has changed it. That's exactly what you need to do with the business as well. Change those passwords regularly. Even if somebody gets to break that padlock at the gate, when he gets into the house, don't put all your house keys and your variables immediately you enter the door and they are there. Lock your car. Don't keep your variables in the car. And before you even get to the car, ensure that you have to get to the house before you get the car keys. So what that means for me is that enable multi-factor authentication. I've gotten to your phone. Enable your facial recognition on that phone before you get to the other mobile applications, especially the critical one where you transact and where you communicate with your customers. Because once I get hold of that communication with your customers, I get to know how much you are pushing. I can easily impersonate. Like the Director General's speech mentioned that one of the highest reported incidents on SMEs is the impersonation. You don't want that person to easily get hold of your data to know how you do business, then start communicating to your customers using your profile or using the same language that you use. So you enable it. Most applications already have this embedded in them, so you don't necessarily have to invest on it. Your WhatsApp conversations that are going on in there, go to WhatsApp, find out how you enable multi-factor authentication. It might take some time, you don't know how to do it. Call the Cybersecurity Authority. They have set up a unit, just call 292. How do I secure this? This is the line of business I want to engage in. How do I secure my conversations on WhatsApp? Help me secure my WhatsApp conversations. That will also help. Should somebody get hold of your number and try and register your WhatsApp conversations, it will prompt them the code, you know? It will prompt them maybe another password that they do not know and that is not within their reach. Same with your emails as well. Just call them. They have hired a lot of cybersecurity experts to take you through. Reach out to them. Use those resources. They are for you. And the third one would be same devices that we use. For cyber experts and ethical hackers such as ourselves, we're ethical, by the way. Okay, wait. One of the easiest way to even penetrate into your house is to know the weakest links of the house. So growing up, we knew which window in my father's house you would press 6 times, then it will open. Make sure that you check around your business on your devices. Somebody does the checking for you already. Get the updates. What the update does, it goes around your business, around your mobile phones, around your systems, and it goes to check, does this door still lock like how it's supposed to lock? Does this window open or close the way it's supposed to? If it doesn't, then it brings in the plumber to fix the door. You bring in the butler bars. It gets that guy to come and fix the butler bars on your door. That is what happens. So get those updates, run them on your devices, run them on your computers. It will patch every one of those loopholes, such that even if you do not know about it and you're not even aware how they can attack your business, you've already sealed that loophole. So those are the key 3 things that you do not even need cybersecurity experts or expertise to secure your business. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. I'll come to you, Jacqueline. You were nodding and nodding and nodding. I'm sure you want to add some more to what Audrey said, but let's also look at the human factor and the resource issues. When you were speaking, I was playing a lot in my mind. This woman wakes up at dawn to go and chase eggs, do this, and she has to also think about passwords, two-factor authentication, all these things. Jacqueline, yes, Audrey has given her the ideas, the SMEs the ideas, but what are some of the simpler, cost-effective ways to implement this? For example, should she employ a cybersecurity coordinator in her business? Does she even have money to take care of that? Or we just call 292 whenever we need help? Jacqueline.
I think she can call Audrey. Audrey But anyway, thank you for that, Audrey. Very good, simple way to understand it. I would elevate it slightly, and I think for me, anything that you start really looking at cybersecurity should really start with a risk assessment. So definitely get in touch with somebody who can help you and conduct a risk assessment. I think that would give you a good picture of where exactly am I, what are the things that are problems now, and what are the things that are likely to become problems. Okay, so maybe your chicken coop has a hole at the side. Snakes can slither in and devour your eggs, and cause issues, eat the chickens. I think a good risk assessment should be able to show you where the loopholes and the vulnerabilities are, and then you start by patching that. You start by looking at it and how do we close these holes, or how do we put a continuous monitoring process in place to make sure that our eyes are always on them, and if that threat would materialize, or we put a net at the hole, was a smaller snake able to pass through the holes in the net, or the net worked? Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean about a risk assessment and keeping an eye on it in terms of continuous monitoring. I think look at the people you work with, okay, as well. People are always the weakest link, and at the same time, the first line of defense. I think SMEs sometimes are under the delusion that maybe they are too small to be attacked, but I dare say that's not true. Now, everybody is fair game. The attack surface is really expanding. I think attackers will take anybody and anybody, whether you're big, you're small, you're medium. I think you're fair game. So I don't think we should adopt that attitude of maybe we are too small. Look at the people you work with. Who are they? Are you using mobile devices? What are their security practices? CK talked about your management practices and your people. I think we've gotten to the place where cybersecurity has to be woven into anything that we are doing. Organization, whether you're small, you're big, you're medium, it has to be top of mind for everybody. So are you using email? Are you even using WhatsApp with your people? Even these days, there's hacking via WhatsApp. They'll send you a link, you click on it, they've taken your WhatsApp. Maybe the number you use for your mobile money, maybe the number you use for your primary sales, you click the link on it, and now somebody has access and is sending messages in your name, sending spam and things like that. So I think you've done a risk assessment, you've looked at your people, have an understanding of what the regulatory requirements are regarding your space. Okay, have an understanding of those regulatory requirements. What do I need to do? And you can always ask for help. If I'm processing customer information, then you definitely know that you need to be you need to be registered with the Data Protection Office. You have to have registered as a data controller. What steps do I need to be in place to make sure that I'm not in contravention of any of the rules as well? I dare say SMEs also use a lot of third parties. Charity, I don't know, maybe you transport your eggs yourselves, but maybe you are also using a third party for that. What are their security practices like? Okay, they would expose you to some risk. Or maybe MTN has decided to start rewarding staff with eggs, and you are a provider. If you are not secure, you can pose a risk to us. Okay, so it's important that you are taking into consideration all these links and chains, and making sure that the people you are dealing with are secure themselves, or have some semblance of cyber hygiene. When I say cyber hygiene, they are thinking about it as top of mind. They've actively put things in place to ensure that they are safe and they are secure in terms of cyber security, or there are some basic practices or fundamentals, as you said, in place. Okay, Audrey talked about passwords, she talked about patching, changing your password often. Can't use the same password for 2 years, the same password. everybody has figured out that when you're sending mobile money 0042, you get me, your employees know, you never know when they can take the phone steal. So it's something that it's simpler than we think, but as Audrey said, we try and make it this monster. It's just really about protecting yourself, no matter the size of the organization. If you are a one-man organization, there are things that you can do as that one person to make sure that you are safe online.
So your password should be as strong as the door lock to your safe, right?
Should be, yes. It
And
should be.
your devices must not go without passwords. As long as your safe has a password
And change them often.
or a lock,
Yes.
your phones, your laptops must also have them.
Yeah.
That is very interesting. I'll ask a final question before I go to the audience. I know that it's important that SMEs collaborate with other service providers and institutions because we cannot do it ourselves.
Yeah.
What must I look out for if I'm looking for a service provider or any institution to help me deal with my cybersecurity issues? If I cannot employ somebody to do that and I want to use a third party, what are some of the things that should tell me, this business, no, don't go there? Yes, that's your business. Let me start with you, CK. I'll take thoughts from Audrey and Jacqueline as well, and I'll go to the audience.
Well, I think Jackie started talking about it around your third-party risk. And actually, it is one of the biggest risk areas for organizations, okay? In this day and age, we cannot do without a supplier, a partner, a third party. It's nearly impossible for any organization to be able to operate without a third party. And for SMEs, it is even more serious because there's no need for SMEs to employ or to buy certain things that they can outsource. So you will end up having everything outsourced, okay? Now, this is where certain frameworks, certification becomes valuable, okay? So if you have a partner and you ask them, okay, so what are your security practices? And they tell you that, okay, I am ISO 27001 certified. It gives you that comfort that they have approached their information security program holistically, because we know that framework, that it covers a broad spectrum. Okay, so then it gives me some comfort that they are serious. Otherwise, then you will go and have to have a third-party audit of them. Okay, so this is why having these frameworks in place. In fact, you might not even need to certify. At least if I say that I am complying with ISO 27001, it should give you that comfort. Now, one thing that I would like to add is that if you're signing a third-party contract, one of the key things that must be in that contract is the right to audit. And that provision must not be missing from any contract. Otherwise, then you have no comfort to find out whether they are behaving as they are supposed to behave. Now, we're all human beings. I will say that I will behave in a certain way. That behavior costs money. So if I can cut costs at certain times, I will do so. I've told you that I'm going to have controls in place. But at a certain point in time, it might not serve my financial interests to continue with that control. So if you do not have the right to audit your partners, then you might be exposing yourself. And again, as Jacqueline said, even for a company like MTN, a small partner can cause them problems. Any partner, once you are integrated, once you are doing business, once you are connected in some way, that supply chain risk is real.
Yeah. Audrey?
For me, I think I'll still take a step back. One thing I've realized is that there's power in numbers. if somebody comes to you and says, I'll develop a mobile app for you, ask the person, are you registered with the Ghana FinTech Association? The reason there's power in the numbers and there's that behavior around certain networks or groups of people, it is because they have a code of conduct that they live by. There's no way you'll be registered with the FinTech Association if you do not take into consideration all this data protection considerations, cyber considerations. They make sure that by the time you register your company, you comply, and sometimes you have to be certified. So one of the things when you come, I'll develop your mobile app for you, I'll develop your website for you. Are you a member of the FinTech Association? That is very, very key for me, because it brings that comfort. Not only that, you're now going to the banks, you want to get money to grow your business. You tell them that, okay, this is the mobile app I use for my customers. These are the projections that I have made. And I've made sure that the mobile app I'm using is ISO certified. You know? Or the product that I'm going to use to reach out to my customers is compliant to the ISO standards. That brings comfort. The bank is like, okay, now I can deal with this person because there's that comfort. The banks understand standards. And if you need money, there's no way I'm going to give you so much money, not knowing if you'll be able to repay the loan. And we know that most businesses now are moving digital, you know, and knowing that it's not your business, a core business function, you need to give your shareholders or you need to give your financiers that kind of comfort. So make sure that whosoever you engage with is compliant, because they have your goals of the business in mind. They also have a standard they need to live by. There's something that is ongoing in the space, which is very good, which is an initiative by the Cybersecurity Authority, where cybersecurity service providers have to register. If you're not too sure about somebody to come and do the assessment for you, if they have the right credentials, or if they've been carrying themselves well within the space, because the same tools we use to protect your businesses are the same tools we use to break into your businesses. You know, so make sure that these people are registered, they have been vetted, and they have the certificate to show, because soon they will not even be able to conduct business in the country. So you need to ask them about these two things. Are you registered with the Cybersecurity Authority? Are you a member of the Ghana FinTech Association? Thank you.
Thank you. Based on this, I'll give you an example. So my friend started a business that provides virtual classroom services to school children. And he went around his church to preach, and the first question a parent asked him was, how are children protected? And he said, oh, he's registered with the Data Protection Authority. Just that answer got the confidence of the parents, and they started signing up. So these things are important. The same way, if you are designing a building, you want to use an architect who is certified by the Ghana Institution of Architects. If you need cybersecurity services, you have to use a business or an individual who belongs to any of these identifiable groupings that regulate themselves, that are also regulated, so that they can give you the best solutions. That's really great. Thank you, Audrey. So I'll take a final one from you, Jacqueline.
So I think for me, 4 things. Audrey has talked about reputation of the company. Are they certified? Do they have the evidence to back it up? There's comfort in numbers. So how many of these have they done? Are you their guinea pig? I think these are things to look out for as well. For me, ease of communication. How easy was it to communicate with them? Even in starting, when they are looking for your business, are you having to chase them all around the place? That's definitely something you need to look at. How easy is communication going with them? That would definitely be a big one for me. Check out their customer service. Are they attentive to your needs? Are they ready? Are they readily available when you need them as well, which really speaks to the same as communication. Then cost of transparency cost. How transparent are they in their costing? Are you going to pay now, and because you don't read the fine print, 6 months down the line, you're supposed to pay something else? Okay, so just make sure that all these things are hashed out, the necessary discussions are had to back this up, and you know that you're definitely getting your money's worth, and you're dealing with reputable people as well. Scalability. I believe every SME intends to grow. Madam Charity, I believe when you started, you didn't just start going to Melcom, you started from somewhere and you grew. Whatever partner you're taking on, are they able to support you when you scale up and you become bigger? I think these are some of the things you need to think about when you're taking a partner on to help you in your journey.
Okay. Clint, so we are going to take a quick break so that my panelists can breathe a bit. Then we'll come to you for your questions. Now, for today's wow moment, the most interactive online person and the early bird person are both getting a phone from MTN. So if you are online, the most interactive person is taking home a phone. When you get it, please, password, two-factor authentication, cybersecurity. And somebody else is also going to get the early bird prize from MTN. So we take a quick commercial from MTN. When we return, we'll bring the microphones round. You raise your hand, we bring it to you. You mention your name, your business. You ask your question. We'll take answers, and then we'll wrap it up. So, quick break.
Doing never stops until the job is done. Turn your home and business into an internet highway and experience the revolution of working and playing without limits. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh to sign up for MTN Fiber for Home and Business today.
Welcome back. This is the MTN Business Executive Breakfast. We are talking about cybersecurity today, and our theme is cybersecurity and the digital transformation of SMEs. Our panelists, CK Bruce, Jacqueline Hansen-Kote, and Audrey Mreku. The middle name, how's the middle name pronounced? Minisi. Okay, Audrey Minisi Mreku. And we are talking about cybersecurity. I have two questions from our online audience. I'll take the first one and then come in here for your questions. So if you have any question, please put your hand up now so that the ushers will bring the microphone to you. So there's a hand up here, there's a hand up there. Any others? Good. Now, this question is from Elvis Ousu. He says, Kojo, I run a small startup. We don't have a lot of money. I cannot employ somebody to handle cybersecurity. How affordable are cybersecurity service providers? How affordable are they? Maybe CK, you would answer this. Are you guys affordable?
We look at your face and charge.
Okay. So when I'm coming to you, I should wear tattered clothes.
The fact of the matter is that, I'm serious, we do look at your face and charge. We look at your face in the sense that the size and the complexity of your organization determines how much work there needs to be done within your environment. So we would definitely ask you a few questions to know, how many employees you have is a key indicator of size. How many branches, We don't really ask about technology. How many servers? No, it's not necessary. Okay, so it's the size, the number of your people, which is key. So the smaller, even if you're a barbershop, we can do it for you, and we will be very affordable.
There was a gentleman I accosted some time ago. I asked him what he did. He said he was a locomotive and lateral movement coordinator for a company. And what is it? He said, I'm a driver. So if somebody comes and says, I'm CEO of something with 48 branches, maybe their revenue will be something small. So looking at the face and charge. Anyway, this one says, I think this question has been answered already, but I'll ask anyway if there are different angles to be touched on. It says, Madam Hansen, what role do employee training and awareness play in safeguarding SMEs against cyber threats in a business that wants to transform digitally? I think it was touched on, but if you have any others to add, you can go ahead.
First, you want to transform digitally. Cyber security is one of your critical success factors. Then people, I think when I was speaking, I said we are both the first line of defense and we are also the weakest link.
Yeah.
So a lot of a good amount of attention needs to be given to your people. Imagine that you have all the policies, the procedures, guidelines in place. People are not reading them. They don't even know what they're supposed to do. That's one. Two, you have all the technology in place, MFA, your patching, threat intelligence, you're up there. But then one person goes and clicks a phishing link because they don't know, because they couldn't identify it. They see an email, they don't really understand. It says click this link, they click it, they enter their details. They have compromised the entire organization. Yeah. So it's highly important that your people are trained. And I would even go back to say from when CK said your management practices, you need to foster a culture of cybersecurity in the organization and know that it's not only you're an SME, you can't afford cyber people, but it's really not up to them to be hygienic when it comes to cyber. It's up to you. They are coming in to help you. Yeah. So cybersecurity needs to be owned by the entire organization. They need to understand it. They need to be able to be very hygienic in terms of cybersecurity. Then you can get the help that you need. So people are very key.
So you should have a sort of a manual.
You have to
and
have
when
a
you
manual.
Employ people, you have an orientation session for them.
You have an orientation session for them. You do
and regular
trainings.
Yes,
you have to do regular trainings for not only your employees, but maybe even your customers. Something you need to think about, depending on the space you're in.
Let me just add something. I think leadership is key. How you lead your organization is key. So these management practices, this principled behavior, creating an environment where people do the right thing is very important. Let me give you an example. We go to Abrochi. Then what do? Do we run red light? We don't. The same person comes to Ghana. The very minute he sees the first red light, he's run through it. Now, what changes? Is it the person or the environment? It's the environment. So depending on the environment that you create within your organization will determine the behavior of your people. If you're lax, if there's no controls, if there's no principles, if there's no values, if there are you're not encouraging behavior of integrity, you will suffer for it. And that is the simple approach to having the right type of environment.
Audrey.
Taking it back to the family setting, your employees are your children. If you sit down with your children and tell them, nobody comes into my house after 7 p.m., these are the same principles you need to set up in your business as well. And my parents, they never told me this once. They told us over and over and over again. So have this awareness training and continuously be having it and tell them the consequences. I know some of us were brought up in a situation whereby we don't do this and nobody explained it to us. Draw them in, let them understand where the business is going. Once they understand that we are trying to make so much profit by the end of the year, if you leave that door open, if you click on that link, if you share your passwords, if you do all those things, it will affect the business profits. You are not going to get your bonuses. Yeah. They easily connect to your business, just like your children. When we were growing up, my father would even tell us that these are the dynamics of the house right now. These are the goals we are building. So don't come and ask for money for bicycle and for new shoes. Because we all knew that we needed a new home, we needed a new house, we needed a new TV. we'll make sure that even nobody spoils their shoe. You see your sister kicking her shoe, kicking a stone, you're like, stop doing that. You're not going to get a new shoe. You want a new house. So that is the environment you need to build within your employees as well. And you need to lead by example as well. If you are telling them not to come in after 7, you yourself should be at home by 7. It's very, very key. The tone at the top is very, very important. There's no way your children will start praying before they sleep if you yourself do not pray. So follow those same guidelines and principles within your cybersecurity space with your employees. Thank you.
So people would largely do as you do, not as you say. So set the right example and they'll follow. Thank you very much, Audrey. Sir, you can take the microphone, introduce yourself, and go ahead.
Raymond Kojo, Ari Kojo Law Office. Ari Kojo Law Office. It's both a question and a contribution, but it starts first by a contribution. Now, when you look at SMEs, the bulk of SMEs don't have that kind of technical knowledge and sophistication. Yet, cybersecurity is an ecosystem-related issue. Now, one of the things with technology is that it brings challenges and it brings opportunities. And some of the opportunities are design-driven in order to overcome the challenges. So, for example, Microsoft, how did it start? When we had people having to have programmers, Microsoft had an idea. Okay, not everybody can afford a programmer. So now let me design things in such a way that anybody at all can have access to it. It answered some solutions. Now, one of the things that we are having because of cybersecurity and the nature of SMEs, as far as money is concerned, technical employees are concerned, are some of the things that are design related. What, for example, would MTN be doing in generating some kind of platforms where SMEs can plug into, right? And then their business models, right, be accommodated in such a way that the person who doesn't understand two-tier verification will just get some feedback at certain levels you key in, because designs for dummies is what makes technology work for dummies. Mm-hmm. So I think that what we should also be looking at is looking at helping SMEs, but also looking how an ecosystem would function well. For example, we have NITA. Okay. Now, you will see that some of the issues which came up as far as validation, there are things that if we help some of these institutions grow and strengthen, it strengthens a certain ecosystem that gives SMEs so many fallbacks that it goes around the challenges that they face, so that there are certain basic things. For example, the whole access of connectivity is zero access. Then Google gives us free. When we type www, we get the free. But eventually, it comes out with a product. Then you have premium. So those who can't afford can also use. So we should begin to look at some of these things and apply them into the cybersecurity space. And then ensure that a Kelewele seller is also able to have a certain platform, because ultimately, if that Kelewele seller is doing things in a certain way, you can order Kelewele from any part of the world, and it will be delivered to that part of the world. And all this is what is going to help us improve on the ecosystem.
Thank you very much. This comment has been approved by the CSA, has been vetted and approved by the CSA. Thank you. There was a hand up at the back, please. Your name and go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Kojo, and thank you to the panelists. My name is Bernard Obimboatin from Finance Skills Hub. We train in data analytics and financial modeling. I like the way it was broken down for Madam Charity. But let's be honest, the typical SME in Ghana is very skeptical about anything digital and online. Because truth is, they are not too sure who is keeping the data. So I have some friends who are off WhatsApp because they are not sure how it works, like he was saying. Now, I would have loved to see maybe data privacy included in the topic, as a way to encourage them so that they are clear on how it works at the back end and who keeps the data. Because, in fact, even for most government agencies, real data is stored in files and papers because of the same concern. So I'll be happy for those of us gathered here that if it can be broken down, the way data is stored, the data commission, how do they ensure that the passwords and all the facial recognition, the stuff we are uploading online are kept secure so that the average SME understands this and is confident to upload files or go online and be able to protect data. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other hand? There's a hand up here. So please bring the microphone here. Let's take this before we take. Okay, go ahead, then we'll come to you.
Thank you. My name is Kwame Kwache from GlobalNet Procurement. And thank you again to MTN for this. But like my brother was saying, the skepticism is there. But one thing, before I pose my question, one thing I want to admonish SMEs is keep business and private issues private. Because we are still within that mentality that if I'm using my computer, the same information that I have my professional activities on is the same one I'm using for watching Netflix and doing other activities. This exposes us. So these are the simple things we can do. Keep private, private, keep business, also business. And again, with what our brother was also saying, we look for service from people like MTN and the rest to be online. And it is this idea of trying to be online that exposes us to all these threats. So again, we look up to you. Can we have some bundle so that if I'm connecting online, then I know, okay, this comes with this and that and that and that, so that I don't need to worry about all these things. I really don't have the technical expertise to find out how phishing is and how those things. These are supposed to be handled by you guys. So offer us a bundle service whereby we can focus on trying to make some money and have a peace of mind and not worried about where are my data going to disappear to and all those things. We really don't have time for that. So we leave that to you. Thank you.
Thank you. As I'm not critical. Hey, MTN, I'm bro. I'm critical, but thank you very much. So there was a question about people not trusting the system, not trusting how their data is stored and all that, and also this contribution about how to really bring SMEs along by offering solutions and services. Who wants to take it first? CK? Okay, CK starts, then I'll...
I like the thinking, the concept of companies focusing on their core business. And that is definitely the way to go. Focus on your core business. Not things that are not core to your business, outsource it. Give it to somebody else to do for you so that you can focus. Okay. The skepticism about digital, unfortunately, you have no other option. And that is a fact of the matter. Unfortunately, the way the world is going, if you are not transforming, you are going to die. And that is a fact. Okay. Now, large organizations like MTN who are providing these services, I mean, for them, any small breach will affect their business. So there's no way that they will let that happen. You know, I mean, the AWSs, the Microsoft who are handling your data. Earlier on, I did explain how data is stored in these large data centers. Your data is not on one server that somebody else can go and access in the data center. No, that's not. It's stripped over a number of servers, okay? So your data is safe in the data center. In fact, it is 100 times safer for you to give your data to a cloud service provider than you to buy a server and store it in your office. We need to realize that, okay? Storing it in your office, there's no way you can spend money to provide the level of protection that is needed in today's times that we are, okay? If you go to the dark web is an area of the internet that is only accessible through specific browsers. You can find a price list of cyber crime services. So the ease in which people can attack you is so easy, okay? So trying to protect your data yourself, you know, is gone. You have to rely on a large organization that can spend the money to give you that level of protection. So it comes back to you at the end of the day. Okay, it comes back to you. So as I mentioned earlier, that the easiest way to get to your data is through you, not through where your data is stored. And it's something that we need to understand. Okay, it is your practices. It is how you go about using your technology. Okay, Audrey has mentioned about changing your password and these practices. Those are the management practices that we need to focus on. Okay, so data protection, privacy is also a set of practices which you need to do. Okay, so I feel that we don't need to fear the cloud, fear the digital services that are available. Okay, we need to take advantage of them. Because if you don't, then as an SME, it will be very, very difficult for you to grow. Okay, one of the things that we desperately need is social media. Why should I spend money on marketing and all that when social media is there? I can spend minimal amounts of money and get to a lot of people. Okay, yes, there are a lot of risks in using social media, there's no doubt. But you need to understand what are the practices that I need to do to minimize those risks. And those are key perspectives that as a business leader you need to have. Okay, I say often that if your key technology advisor cannot explain some of these things and make it simple for you, then you have the wrong advisor. Okay, they should not make it complex because it is not complex. Even understanding multi-factor authentication is not complex. I know the whole word multi-factor authentication sounds, what is this? I don't want to know. No, it's simply that you are having two sources of authenticating your access. Simple. So these key cybersecurity practices and solutions can be easily understood, and it shouldn't be something that, as an SME, I'm too small to involve myself in this. Let me not worry myself about it, and that shouldn't be the way to go. Okay, there are things that can be understood and should be understood. As I said, the digital direction is unstoppable. So you need to begin to understand some of the key things around it. And you can grow like a global organization.
So basically, if you rent an apartment at Tiptoe Lane and you don't lock your door, thieves can come and steal from you. if you rent an apartment at Villaggio and you don't lock your door, thieves can still come and steal from you.
Exactly.
So even though Villaggio may be safer, the thieves may end up monitoring your ways and see that this man doesn't lock the apartment. So they will pose as a cleaner or some other thing and steal from you. So the servers are great, the service providers are great. They've gone through all the regulatory processes and put in place the structures. But everything still rests with you and how you approach your own cybersecurity. CK, it be so.
Exactly so.
Okay, so I'll take quick comments from Audrey and Jacqueline, and then I'll take your question, and then, we have 2, so we'll take 2 more. Okay, 3 more, 4, and then 4 more for Nana. But you make it quick. So, quick comments from the 2 of you. Then we'll take 4 more, and then wrap up. We are not breaking any 8 today. I'll take only 4 more. So, Jacqueline.
So I think I hear what you're saying, my brother. However, if you're renting an apartment at Tiptoe Lane, your landlord is providing the perimeter, the wall, the gate, maybe the guard dog, but if you don't lock your own door, somebody will still steal. So no matter how small you are, I hear your call to MTN, and I'm sure the EBD and the powers that be are here, they're listening. We can provide you the services, but you still need to be very cyber hygienic to make sure that those services work. I think earlier when I spoke, I said, listen, you can put in the technology, you can do everything. It comes down to you and how you understand and own your own cybersecurity and keep yourself. And I think CK has said it, transform or die. There's no way around it, okay? So if you're not thinking about it now, you would have to be thinking about it within the next 2 to 3 years. And it's something you're going to have to consider anyway. So we'll do our part. We'll think about that for you, but you also have to have it at the top of your mind because it has to work hand in hand. We just can't provide the technology while you are being very lax with it, okay? Because there's a wall, there's a gate, there's a dog. Maybe today bingo didn't back, okay? So the door, you still have to lock your door, okay? So I hope that clarifies it. Thank you.
Audrey?
I'll go back to the first point I made earlier. There's power in numbers. If you group yourselves and you approach Innovari, that's CK's company, and demand for the service, it will not be as expensive when you are alone approaching him, because he already has a standard. Let's say he wants to train you on how to set up your policies or how the governance of your organization cyber-wise. You put yourselves together, you release some of your staff members, there are 20 or 30 of them. CK, we have 30 people. How much are you going to charge us? We have our own venue. Come and train us. Definitely, you all be able to afford cybersecurity. There are low-hanging fruits. You don't have to think of this thing as a complicated thing. There are low-hanging fruits that you can actually grab onto, and it becomes a win-win situation. Thank you.
Thank you. We need to end the session by 11 a.m. And I still have some items on the program. So just as the lady says, you have 1 minute remaining. The 4 people who have questions, you have 30 seconds each. And after your 30 seconds, I'll take a minute's responses from my panelists so we can wrap up on time. So I'll start from you, sir, then go to you, and go to the last 2 at the back.
It's Richard from MG Luxury here. My question is for Mr. C.K. Bruce. Regarding the issue of continuous reliance on the big names to preserve your data, during the largest cyber attack in the United States of America, where over 30,000 businesses were affected within the United States and 60,000 worldwide, this had to do with the compromising of information that were held by a big company such as the Microsoft Exchange Server. So my question is, in such an environment, if that could happen to Microsoft Exchange email servers, how protected are we in this jurisdiction as an SME?
Thank you, sir. So we'll take all the questions and have the answers. The international, Mr. Dowuna.
Okay, right. My name is Ami Dowuna. I write for Tech Focus 24. So because Audrey mentioned that a lot of the times we tend to protect our laptops, but then we do a lot of things on our phones and we don't protect it. I want to flip the question and say, when there is a SIM swap on your phone and your SIM has been swapped and it has been hacked, that one we cannot blame it on social engineering. Then it means that you as a business, you have been compromised. Probably somebody will have access because we have a lot of things on our phones. Your bank app and stuff like are on it. We have seen cases where people's monies have been stolen in their banks because they are at their banks because their SIMs were swapped. So in that sense, you can't, like I said, you can't blame it on the business. So as cybersecurity experts, what would you tell the businesses that offer our services, like for instance MTN, in terms of how to protect us from, to prevent something like that from happening? Because we are doing a lot on our phones now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sami. Two more at the back. The man in, yes, please go ahead and then give the microphone to this gentleman in black.
Hello, please. My name is Manuel Bruce. My question is about the fact that you said we start using digital services as soon as maybe from the internet or anything else. So as a small scale business or medium scale business, an average Ghanaian does not know much or anything at all about cybersecurity. So is there a way in general to educate the public? Because what she said, the pizzeria example, someone just changed their number on Google Maps. I don't think they had any idea that could happen. So is there a way to educate as a whole, or generally the average scale Ghanaian or African as a whole, about cybersecurity and the importance of it?
Thank you. And the final question will be taken from my man in black.
Hi, my name is Kobe Spikey, and my question is really for businesses, or should I say for a lot of financial institutions who do not employ security by design. And I say this because a lot of the times the individuals who use these services very much do not know how to protect themselves. I can attest to the fact that a lot of people are using their date of births as their PINs on a lot of financial apps. Can't we just, as basic as that, set that as an input validation feature to prevent people from setting personally identifiable information as security, passwords, PINs? I know it makes things difficult. It makes security, too much security makes the user experience not fun. And people will say, hey, to let the business thrive, let's reduce these things. But I think the onus lies more on the business to protect the people, considering that maybe they're not as smart. Let's just put it that way, and it would help secure them.
Mr. Nkrumah, thank you. So I'll come to my panelists here. Microsoft's disappointed their users and customers. Should we still trust big business to protect our data and our security online? That was the first question we got. Sami's question was about businesses again and service providers also having loopholes that put their clients at risk. How do we deal with that? And then we will have comments on the last two. I'll start from you, Audrey, then come to CK and finish with Jacqueline.
Okay. I'll leave the Microsoft one for CK. I'll tackle the SIM swap comments. It's true. One thing we need to first appreciate is everybody has a role that they're playing when it comes to cybersecurity. When it comes to the SIM swap incidents, in my experience, the incidents that I've experienced was that a number of times you advertise your location. If I know you're currently in Dubai, and there's nothing that stops me from trying to do a SIM swap on your behalf. Why? Because you've advertised this on social media. You are in Dubai. I know you're not in the country. You can't stop me. That's one. So you also need to, your behavior, you also need to protect yourself because there's so much information that you are putting out there and you do not know how somebody can actually take advantage of it. You want to advertise that you're in Dubai, go to Dubai and come back. Then you start posting your Dubai pictures. By that time, you'll be able to realize that, oh, my phone, the network is off. What's happening? I'm trying to call people. I'm unable to make a call. What's happening? Then you call your service provider and you're assisted. It doesn't just end there. The service providers have put some security measures in place. Right now, if you do a SIM swap, you can't access your mobile money wallet immediately. And with this same concept, are working with the banks. The banks actually working with the mobile network providers. There should also be a delay. So once you do a SIM swap, the banks should also not allow you to download the mobile app for you to be able to transact. The conversations are happening right now, and they're at their highest peak, where we are now going to even share information on how to protect you as our customer. Because if a mobile network company can delay, there's been a SIM swap, I'll delay you maybe by 24 hours. The bank should also have that information so that we do not allow you to transact using that platform. To the gentleman's comment about cybersecurity being expensive, not having the right expertise within, there's an easy way out. You know what they say when they say, I watch social media a lot, when they say things that you are available but are illegal to know. You might not be able to afford Madame Ajwa or Madame Jacqueline right now. The easiest way, set up your company and have a board. Bring her in as a board member. She will drive cybersecurity from the top. Thank you.
Thank you.
CK. No, I think what Audrey said is key. Is key. Having the right people as part of your team. And it's true, the easiest way to have a competent person is to have them on your board. And that I see even for large organizations, that they don't have these people on their boards. And that is unfortunately a massive failing. SMEs should also have boards. You should. Having proper governance is key in being successful in these times. Now, to answer the question about whether we should continue to, try and protect ourselves. I mean, as Audrey said, we can't stop cyber attacks. You can't stop it. We need to understand that. The key thing is that how do you recover and continue your business? One thing that we need to also think about is that a cyber attack might be a cyber attack, but the key thing is that what is the impact of that attack to you? So you might actually have an attack, but no impact. Nothing of yours has been compromised, okay? A large organization, Microsoft, might have exposed 10 million passwords, okay? Now, for somebody to go through those 10 million passwords and try to use them is work. You will need an organization bigger than MTN to be able to try and exploit those 10 million passwords. It is not that straightforward and simple. So that's why you changing your password often then protects you from those compromises. So if you know you have a password in Microsoft has been compromised, just change your password. You see, so it boils down to your behavior, to your response to these things, to your understanding. Unfortunately, we need to understand, and I like the question and comment from the gentleman at the back about how this awareness is being created. It is being created, and that's why we are here today.
Yeah.
Okay? It is constantly being created. But one of the things that we also need to think about is that we need to think that cybersecurity is not a technology problem. It is not. Once we think that it's a technology problem, then we are constantly looking for a technology solution. Yeah. It is a people problem. The technology is there. It is the people that misuse it. It is the people that exploit it. So we need to focus on the people. We need to focus on your practices, on your management processes. You see, so what happens is that we hear cybersecurity, oh, this is a technology thing. I'm not a technology person, so it's not about me. And that is how a lot of business leaders respond.
Thank you, CK.
You see, so we need to focus on the people aspect.
Okay, thank you, CK. Jacqueline?
So I think the two questions here have been answered, so I'll take the last two. Kobe Spikey's question. Comment. Very laudable. It sounds good, Kobe, but then what happens to the consecutive numbers, 111, 222? If we go down people not using their birthdays, there's a tall list that would have to go down as well. Why can't we just be cyber hygienic? Basic cyber practices. Even if you're using a difficult one, very random, why don't you change it often? Because you're using something very random, that's not your birthday or that's not consecutive numbers, it does not mean you should keep it for 10 years. You might have a wife like Audrey who's always spying when you are sending mobile money to know what your PIN is. Okay, so that it doesn't take away, doing that, okay, does not take away from the fact that you need to adopt some basic cyber hygiene principles. And to the gentleman at the back as well, I think we are in Cybersecurity Awareness Month, the whole of October, every October in the year. That's why we're having these programs. That's why we have things like this. Keep your ears to the ground. I think the CSA are doing quite a lot. We're doing quite a few things as well, not only in-house, but for our customers as well. And I dare say if you go on the net, there's so many basic cyber hygiene principles that you can read about and adopt that to keep you safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Please put your hands together for Audrey, CK, and Jacqueline. It's been a very good conversation, and they are still around. So if you didn't get a chance to ask any question, I'm sure they'll spend some 5-15 minutes more to engage and ask your questions. Please, you can take your seats now. Let's show them some love once again. Audrey, Jacqueline, and CK. At this point, we will go for a quick break. When we return from the break, we are going to have a presentation from MTN Business. Some of you asked for MTN to put together bundles and solutions. I know that MTN Business Solutions has a lot of things put in place. So we are going to have that presentation right after this break. So ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy this quick break, and then I'll invite our next presenter.
In Africa, SMEs play such a strong and important role in terms of the economies that we serve. According to the World Bank data, SMEs contribute about 40% of the African GDP, and they also employ roughly about 2/3 of the workforce on the continent. What I love about this continent is that we're always hustling and finding a way of making things happen. The African population is quite young, and a large component of those are actually being employed by the SMEs. These SMEs are also contributing a lot in terms of solving some of Africa's key problems, but also producing not only products and services, but innovating in terms of how technology can actually solve these pertinent issues. In this dynamic and changing world, we wanted to showcase and position MTN Business and showcase how we are progressing Africa's businesses through reliable and trusted ICT services. Our brand positioning is about business done better. At MTN Business, we recognize that not all businesses are the same, whether it's the small, micro, entrepreneurial startups to the multinationals, including also in the public sector. Each of them have unique issues that they're addressing and also unique offerings that they bring. So as such, as MTN, we want to address that uniqueness and bring solutions that are very relevant in solving these enterprises' issues. At MTN Business, it starts with connectivity, but it goes far beyond that. We're looking at ICT services, cloud solutions, IoT, and all that around the connectivity really starts to build the foundational blocks that makes companies do business better. It's about bringing the old into the new, looking at how things were done into how they can be. So it's all about renewal. It's such an exciting time for us as MTN Business and also for industries out there because we're seeing the progress of technologies. First, we can look at 5G and how that is currently being rolled out across the continent and adjacent technologies within the IoT cloud space and other evolving technologies. These solutions are allowing businesses do business better. Business done better is about unlocking opportunities, unlocking value, unlocking economies, unlocking talent. And that is what MTN Business is all about.
Thank you very much. So MTN Business has a lot for you. My startup is on MTN Business. We have a lot of solutions that keep us moving. So if your business is not on, then it's definitely not in the world of business. So get on MTN Business. At this point, I'd like to invite the Senior Manager, Enterprise Marketing and Portfolio Management for MTN, Mr. Benedict Bento, to give us a presentation on MTN business. Benedict.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I know we are far ahead of time, so I'll try to keep this under 10 minutes. First of all, thank you, Bernard, CIO and his team for being here, our acting CBO. And then although Noel is not here, the marketing team as well for this wonderful execution. I will take us through some solutions that MTN Business has for SMEs. I'll start with the obvious one in terms of what we've recently launched. If you do not have control over your presence online, someone will have control over it for you. I think we've discussed, Kojo gave an example about someone who changed something on Google and then, placed some orders and all that. And if you do not register your own domain and have your own website, someone will spoof it for you and start taking your orders and not delivering them, and then you will have lawsuits on your hands. So for the first thing I want to talk about, works. So our WebWiz solution now gives SMEs the opportunity to be able to have their own online presence. It involves minimal technical knowledge. You basically go online, submit your details, and within a period of about 72 hours, you have your own website, your own domain. Right now, if you sit here and you probably do not register your domain, tomorrow when you feel you are ready to register your domain, you go and it's already purchased, and you have to purchase it or repurchase it for about tens of thousands of dollars. I'm sure when Casapreco started, it was a very small company, and if he didn't know where he was going, by the time he wanted to buy his domain, someone would have registered it and you'd have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. So now you have the opportunity to do that yourself. Any SME can just go online. Basically, for those who are trying to take a picture, I will move on to a QR code where you can just scan and it will take you to all the details for onboarding. Yes, so in terms of security, it is SSH encryption, so your security is also assured. Because we are in Cybersecurity Month, I have to mention that. Apart from that, social media, you have e-commerce there, you can do your transactions there, people can place orders, you can deliver the orders, you can have Google Maps integration, so no one can change your location on Google or spoof your location. Once you share your official presence with your customers, they have a reliable place to reach out to you. So every SME out there can just go ahead and scan the QR code. You can just scan the QR code, it takes you straight to the details, and then I'll talk about some of our other services that we currently have. I think somebody mentioned something about SIM swaps and all that. If you know about our Chinosis marketplace, an API marketplace that has SIM swap APIs there, as well as KYC APIs. So all the banks, and I think one of our panelists mentioned, the banks are working with the telcos. The banks are now able to, in real time, call that API and verify if that SIM has been swapped recently. So if the bank has an app, a mobile app, and somebody tries to sign up and they enter a number, that app can just quickly call that API and confirm if that SIM has been swapped recently or in the past 24 hours or 48, whatever the duration is, and prevents the person from going ahead or even delay the registration process and makes it a little safer. If you walk into a branch right now and you mention that you are so and so and the bank wants to verify who you are and you give them the consent to check your number, they will be able to find all your details that you've registered with. So that also adds another layer of security. And all these APIs are available in our Chinosis marketplace. Any official organization who wants to use these APIs for maybe their application or for security purposes can contact MTN and we can provide you access to these APIs. There are other solutions that we have in terms of the SME space. I'll just go here quickly. Sorry about this. Okay. This QR code takes you to our business page. I didn't want to bore you with a lot of slides. So once you scan this QR code, you go to our business page, you find our unified communication solutions, you find fixed broadband solutions, and just to also answer the question on what we are doing for security as a service, there are some solutions that are coming, probably Q4 or latest Q1 next year, where SMEs can be able to, whether you have that technical knowledge or you do not, you'll be able to access some basic, solutions online just by having an MTN line. So without wasting much more of your time, this is what we have from MTN Business. There are representatives from MTN Business outside and in the lobby. You can just engage us and then we can take you through what we have for you to secure your business and create your online presence as well. Kojo, am I taking questions or no questions? I think we are behind time, but if there's any question, I'll take one. No. Looks like we don't have a question. Okay, thank you very much and have a great day.
Looking for Bernard. Most Bernards I know are sharp guys, like Bernard Dombote, clinical striker. Bernard Avle, clinical radio presenter. Reverend Bernard Adiakwa, clinical Osofo. And Bernard Bento, clinical MTN exec. I was going over the web packages and they looked really good. I run a business be like that, and your prices, Charlie, you run out of business, but it's good for the general economy. So we like it. We really like it. So if you run a business, you want to get online, please, Ben and the team are here. Anybody in MTN branded shirts, you can talk to them. They'll sort you out nicely so that we can grow Ghana together. We have a winner for the wow moment. We have two. We are giving one to the most active online person today and one to the early bird, the person who came first. So we are going to have the closing remarks by the CIO of MTN, and when he comes up, I'd like him to help us present this to the winner before he goes ahead to give his closing remarks. But before he even comes, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the Acting Chief Commercial Officer, Amele Ampofo. Amele, please give us a wave. We also have the Acting Chief Enterprise Business Officer, Richard Densu. Please give us a wave. We have the Chief Human Resource Officer, Ama Bene Amponsa. She's also here. Please, Ama, give us a wave. We have the Chief Customer Relations Officer, Jimaima Kote Walsh, also here. Please give us a wave. And the man who is going to present this and also give us the closing remarks, the CIO, Chief Information Officer, Mr. Bernard Akwa. Please help me welcome Bernard. And as Bernard comes, the winner for the early bird, Mr. Daniel Tego, if you are here, please come and take your phone, and then Bernard will give us a closing remark. So please do better for him. He came very, very early.
Good morning. Light is very bright. I hope we're all doing good. Okay, so to the DG of the Cybersecurity Authority, Dr. Inchibozi Akun and his able representative, to the CEO of MTN, Mr. Solomon Dadivo, and all the executives present and online, because I know there's a few people online. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I think you'll agree that it's been quite a good event, right? Have we learned anything? I'm not going to ask questions because I think we are late, but it's been an eventful morning listening to in-depth deliberations on cybersecurity and digital transformation in Ghana for SMEs. We do appreciate the various contributions made by the panel on the theme for discussions, as well as the questions and contributions from our esteemed audience. Undoubtedly, the SME sector continues to drive and accelerate socioeconomic growth, and at MTN, we have always believed in the immense potential of Ghana's SME sector and its direct and indirect contribution to our economy. Over the years, we've invested and we will continue to invest in SME-focused initiatives with technology solutions to aid their growth. And I think Benedict talked about some of the new things that are coming. In the last few years, we've seen how rapid technological and digital advancement has also brought to bear unprecedented risks and challenges. I think we've just spoken about some of those. Cyber fraud, data breaches, amongst other things. Sessions like these provide us with a platform and avenue to not only bring such issues to the fore, but also to proffer and recommend solutions to the challenges and spur our action. Given the unprecedented risks presented by technological advancement and digitization, small and medium companies need to be abreast of trends, opportunities, and challenges within the cybersecurity space, and also implement robust frameworks and systems to protect their businesses from cybersecurity-related issues and threats. This month is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and it presents us with a good opportunity to deliberate on such key issues that affect SMEs as you transition into the digital world. I am happy that through today's session, our experts have brought attention to some of the key and pertinent issues and challenges bordering on cybersecurity and digital transformation, while sharing lessons and pushing for policy formulation. I believe that we've set a tone for more work and collaboration amongst all stakeholders within the sector and beyond. As we lead digital solutions for Ghana and Africa's progress at MTN, we will continue to convene and lead conversations on some of the key and pertinent issues that affect Ghanaians and Africans in today's digital world. As part of this month's activities, we at MTN will be engaging students and other stakeholder groups to educate them on cybersecurity. It's our responsibility to do so. So once again, not to talk for too long, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us here for today's MTN Business Breakfast Series. And over the period of this month, I look forward to the outcomes of the insightful conversations that will be going on. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bernard. Please give him a round of applause as well. Bernard for the MFO Mundia Grokra. Anyway, we've come to the end of today's program, and we have one final winner to announce. For the most interactive person online, the award goes to Vincent Miracle. Vincent Miracle. You are not here, but we applaud you anyway. Officials from MTN will contact you and make sure you get your brand new phone. So these are the notes I wrote, and these are the lessons I'm taking home. That in the Cybersecurity Month, in the big yellow world of possibilities, you need to, as an SME, do a risk assessment and understand what you do and the risks you face. Importantly, educate your employees. As Audrey kept mentioning, and Jacqueline, it's a people business, so educate your employees. Have your cybersecurity policies, right? Regularly update your password and your softwares. Have access control, that is also your passwords, and there was a mention of multi-factor authentication that CK kept mentioning. And also work on the vendors and the third parties you are working with. Ensure that they're also in a good place to ensure that they don't become the window that opens up to your problems. Also, you need to have mobile device security. So your mobile devices, keep them in a safe place. Also make sure they also have passwords so that people cannot use your mobile devices to threaten your business. And most importantly, collaborate with experts. But I think one of the tips that stood out for me was that we should work together. So SMEs, Charity, you, Nuong, all your friends, gather 20 of them, you work together, 200 CDs, 200 CDs, 200 CDs, you go to CK. Charlie, look at our faces and charge us, but we'll give you 200. Then you just drop it like that. And I think if we do this together, we can really, really succeed and grow the economy of Ghana, create opportunities for all of us, and be rich in Jesus' name. Amen. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for coming on behalf of MTN, on behalf of the whole team. Please network, make friends before you go, and let's build together. We'll take some good pictures as well, right? So my panelists and my speaker, please join us. And the execs, if if you can join us as well for a group picture, all the execs here and the senior managers, please join the panelists and our speaker for a group picture. I think we still
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She's pleased. But now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains the new fleet-finding darts are more accurate than the old ones. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't automated your fleet management yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business. Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that he hired a security goat to protect the data shed. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded to cloud storage yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business. Pascal's showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that the wells can store many, many messages. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded your contact center yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.